Wasted money on cures. Forgot how to fix myself. They say that time is free. Then why is it so precious? Oh, I'll say memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind you to look ahead. Time is running out. Time is running out. Lately I've lost my track. I've sailed the deepest seas, hoping to find something to bring back better times. Oh, I'll say memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind you to look ahead. But time is running out. 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 Time is running. Time is running out. Time is running out. What if my best days are over? They can't be over. They can't be over now. Time is running out. What if my best days are over? They can't be over now. Time is running out. Time is running out. Time is running out.
Morning, everyone. It's Jim here. Welcome to the first in our new series of live revision question practice for AQA A-Level Business. Today, we're taking a look for about 35 minutes or so at Unit 3. Hopefully, you'll enjoy the session and find it useful. Just as people are joining us, quick reminder, this week we are about to go on tour for 4 weeks with our live grade booster workshops. There's a picture of me down there with Uncle Graham. Or Graham, and I think we've got 9 subjects featured on our tour this year. So if you get a chance to join us at our live cinema workshops, that will be really good. Look forward to those. Let's start with a quick warm-up activity. Who's going to be first in the live chat with the answer to this big reveal? Name the products or the brand. It has a marketing focus. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. First clue is this business was launched in 2016. So if you're thinking of a business and you think, I know a business, but it was launched in 2017, it's not that one. It's launched in 2016, so fairly modern. Arrival on the scene. Clue number 2. The original name for the service was Douyin. Douyin. It's changed its name since, perhaps understandably. Clue number 3, looking out in the live chat to see who can get this one first. If anyone, we might beat you. Merged with musical.ly in 2018 as part of an expansion into Western markets. We do have the first correct answer in the live chat. Let's stick it on the screen just to show you that we do have somebody. JT Galaxy. Congratulations. Yeah, you do actually have the right answer. Let's just go through the 2 remaining clues. It's still owned by ByteDance. I say still owned. Obviously, its ownership is under some scrutiny at the minute, particularly in the US. And so my 5th clue, which I should have removed after last night's shenanigans in the White House, Donald Trump threatened to close it, but now likes it. Anyway, correct answer, TikTok. Okay, yeah, so the purpose of this session is to do some live revision on Unit 3. Question practice, we've got some MCQs, a calculation, and a 9-marker coming up, along with a couple of application activities. So let's start with some MCQs. I've got 4, I think it's 4 new MCQs for you. There might be 5, definitely 4. Written these based around the new specification. So first examined this summer, May to June 2025. So Spotify is an online music streaming service. In 2020, it paid $100 million for an agreement to distribute the Joe Rogan Experience podcast and has since bought the rights to stream other podcast content to existing subscribers. So is that an example? According to Ansoff, Igor Ansoff, is that diversification, market development, product development, or market penetration? So all these MCQs, there's 4 options. So you've got a 25% chance. And with this one, the Ansoff question is often poorly answered by students in the exam. The answer is always in the stem. Always in the stem. You can work out the answer from the words that they give you. Bit of a clue, really, isn't it? That's why they set it, isn't it? Lots of people coming in. Wabi-Sabi is saying C, product development. That was the first answer in for product development. And quite a few people in the live chat agreeing with C, product development. Shall we see if you've got the right answer? It is indeed C. Yeah, it is, isn't it? So the clue there was existing subscribers, so existing customers, but it's definitely something new, isn't it? It's not online music streaming, it's streaming of podcast content, so it's a new product. Existing customers. Now here's our first of our 2 statement questions. So with these statement questions, you're given 2, usually about the same topic area, and you just need to work out whether each is either true or false. So statement 1, according to the Boston Matrix, a business should stop selling products in low growth markets. True or false? And statement 2, according to the product lifecycle model, extension strategies can move a product from maturity back to growth. What do we think? Either true or false? And the answers are always the same. True, 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 false, false, true, false, false. What do we think? Quite tricky, these. You've got to work through each one. Think about the logic of the statement and test it against your knowledge and understanding, in this case, of those 2 models. JT and others have opted for, well, the same letter that they went with in question 1. No reason why it shouldn't be. We can certainly see an answer there, can't we? But it could be A, B, or D. Okay, let's take a look at the answer. It is indeed. Let's put the answer on the screen here. It is indeed C. Yeah. Statement 1 is false, isn't it? The Boston Matrix doesn't say stop selling products in low growth markets. You might have a high relative market share of a low growth market. In other words, you might have a cash cow. Great to have those cash cows. They don't require significant investment. They're often very profitable, but they operate in low growth markets. You certainly shouldn't stop selling cash cows. You might consider selling or divesting dogs. That would be a low relative share in a low growth market. But no, it doesn't say low growth markets are not to be used. And yes, extension strategies, a key part of an extension strategy is to move it back out of maturity and give it a kickstart back into a growth phase, perhaps through use of new product packaging or different pricing or some kind of improvement to the product. Okay, here's our next question. This is a tricky one, an important one as well. So a product has an income elasticity demand coefficient of plus 1.6. And we do need to know about the plus. Last year, and a quantity demanded of 500,000 units per year. Now, if next year incomes rise by 5%, what will happen to the quantity demanded next year? Income elasticity demand. So don't forget, you're not required to calculate the coefficient, but you do need to be able to apply the coefficient and understand it. So in other words, you do need to know how to calculate it, because really it's hard to understand it unless you know how it's calculated. But you won't be asked to calculate it. So it's either A, B, C, or D. What do we think? Give you a few more seconds. So an income elasticity of plus 1.6. 500,000 units sold. If incomes rise next year, what's going to be the quantity demanded? Let's have a look at the answer. This may have stumped quite a few of you. A few more seconds. And let's go through the answer. It's B, 540,000 units. I think quite a few people are now putting B in the live chat. There must be a delay on the live chat. Let's just go through the answer, why that is. Don't forget, with income elasticity, we need to remember the plus or minus matters, doesn't it? We ignore it for price elasticity, but we don't for income. So plus 1.6, what that means is for every 1% change in income, in this case, an increase in income, quantity demanded will increase by 1.6%. So if incomes rise by 5, that's 5 lots of 1.6%, that's 8%. So we simply apply an increase of 8% to 500,000 units, which gets us an extra 40,000 units. So the new total, 540,000 units. In other words, demand will increase for this product as incomes rise. Won't always happen, of course. It could be minus, couldn't it? If it was a minus income elasticity, an inferior good, demand might fall as income rises. But that's why we have to take account of the plus. Okay, another marketing question for you. A business has researched and selected the specific market it wishes to enter, and it now needs to decide how to use the marketing mix to compete against existing businesses. So what is that known as? Is it segmentation? Is it targeting, pricing, or positioning? What do we think? So with these MCQs, trying to write them in the style and format of the real thing. Typically, obviously, you get 15 MCQs in paper 1. The average is usually 8.5, 9 out of 15. If you can get 11 or 12 or more, then you're in A grade territory. What do we think to this one? Quite a few people saying, oh, we've got a mixture here. We've got some Ds and some Bs. So it looks like we're undecided, or we're splitting our views between targeting and positioning. Let's reveal the answer. It's D, it's positioning. Positioning, if you remember the segmentation, targeting, and positioning model, once we have split the market into different segments, groups of different customer needs, that's segmentation, we then make a decision as to which segment to target or to enter. Well, we're told the business has done that, hasn't it? It's selected the market it wishes to enter. What we then need to do is to decide how we are going to compete in the market that we have already targeted. And that's where the marketing mix comes in. And that is indeed all about positioning. Now, this is a new question based around a new topic that's not been examined before, because it's a new topic for 2025. Could be examined this year. It might not be, but it could be. So an online clothing business has a database of 10,000 customers aged between 18 and 44, different age groups there. And it wants to conduct some market research with 100 customers from each demographic segment, with customers sampled at random from their age group. So which method of sampling would you use to achieve that desired market research piece? So as always, the clue is in the STEM, and then match the STEM to the relevant method of sampling. So this is new in the specification. Not saying the examiners will examine it, but it's one of, 9 or 10 new topics that have not been examined before, because they weren't in the specification. So they could be, couldn't they? We don't know. We'd be foolish to guess. But this is encouraging. Most people are going for what I believe to be the correct answer. Let's have a look. It is indeed stratified sampling. Yeah, so stratified sampling is similar to random sampling, but what happens is, first of all, you have to stratify your population. So in this case, we're going to split our customers into 3 groups. That's stratification: 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44. And then we apply random sampling to them. But first of all, we have to stratify the sample. So stratified is breaking the population into groups before you random sample. Whereas random sampling would just take the whole 10,000 customers and pick customers out. And that's not what we want. And I thought, well, that's it. If you'd be relieved to hear, that's it. That's it for MCQs for this session. Let's do a quick calculation practice. So we've got a bit of data there on the screen. Often the examiner likes to give you some calculations based around market size and market share. So why don't we do that? So the table there shows some data about a business sales this year, business sales next year, and also some information about the size of the market this year, and the growth rate, the expected growth in the market. So we can use that information to calculate 2 numbers: market size next year and the market share of the business next year. So I've got my classic spinner timer here. Let's stick some funky music on whilst you have a go. I'll look out in the live chat for anyone who wants to have a go with the calculation. Here we go. Have a go at one, or both, or neither, of course, is fine. And when the clocks stop spinning, I'll take you through the answers and the workings. Always worth having a calculator handy or smartphone for these sessions. Although if you're watching a session on the smartphone, I suppose it makes it a little bit harder. So market share next year, and we're looking for market size next year. So let's have a look. I think there's some workings in the live chat, but I don't yet see what I think is the correct answer. But we'll go through my workings because you know what I'm like if you've watched my sessions before. Have been known to make errors on calculations, so obviously deliberately. Let's have a look at the first one. The market size next year is indeed 13 million. So I've just seen that in the live chat. Well done for getting 13, if that's what you came up with. So how do we get to that? Well, we're told that the market size this year is 12.5 million. And it's going to grow next year by 4%. So percentage changes, an examiner favourite with AQA. We need to increase 12.5 million by 4%. And it's 1.04 times by 12.5 million. So 13 million is our market size next year. And we can then use that to calculate market share next year. Well, we're told next year that the business is expected to sell £1 million worth of sales. So the market share is going to be 1 million divided by 13 million, not by 12.5. That was this year's market size. Next year's market size is 13. Therefore, the market share next year is going to be 1 million over 13, which I think is 7.69%. Now, you might say, well, what if I had no idea how to calculate those? Well, don't forget, with AQA calculation marks, the actual calculation and the number are just part of the marks that are available. So if you had no idea, do not leave it blank. Never leave a calculation blank. Let's say a 3 marker. Just write down what market share formula is, or market size percentage, or something that shows knowledge and understanding of the calculation you're required to do, and then always show your workings. So even if you get the wrong answer, you might still get, say, 2 out of 3. We'll do lots more question practice and calculation practice over the coming sessions as we get closer to paper 1, 2, and 3. So let's move on to a couple of topics that are in the specification. One of them is not new, but it's important. Another one is new, so we'll have a look at it. And really, it's over to you just to sort of think about application here and applying your knowledge and understanding of these topics to a situation. So this isn't a question practice as such, but it's really useful as revision. Here's our first situation. We're told that Starbucks operates coffee shops. It sells branded products in supermarkets, and it partners with services like Deliveroo, which I think is true, isn't it? In the UK, it does, along with Uber Eats. So anyway, leaving that aside, give me, please, and I'll give you a minute to have a think about this. We'll stick 1 or 2 items on the screen if you want to add them into the live chat. Give me 2 benefits to Starbucks of using multi-channel distribution, because that's what it is, multi-channel distribution. Over to you. So Starbucks doesn't just operate coffee shops, it also sells its branded products in Waitrose and Tesco's, and it partners with services like Deliveroo. So that's an example of multi-channel distribution, more than one distribution channel. But what are the benefits to Starbucks of doing that? JC's in early, really great answer. A benefit is Starbucks will be able to reach more customers via other platforms like Deliveroo, therefore increasing sales as more people sell their products. It's actually reaching new customers. Like that, that's exactly the kind of answer we're looking for. Try and stick 1 or 2 more on the screen if I get a chance. It's often good to revise topics like multi-channel distribution, which is hidden away in the specification in marketing, just by way of little mini case studies like this. So That's why we do it. There's lots of answers coming through. Let's just see a number of people agreeing with the JT Galaxy point, which is good. Well done, JT. White's gone with increased customer base. Yeah, so wider, expanding the customer base, and also maximizing the supply chain. Gaining, that's an interesting point, actually. That's not one of my answers, but it's a good one. So, in other words, maybe potentially accessing economies of scale through having a wider distribution base. So in other words, you're making whatever it is, frappuccinos in bottles, sell them in as many different channels as possible so that you can get your quantity demanded higher and therefore your unit costs up. Love those. Let's see what I went with. We'll do another one of these shortly. I went with market development. A number of people in the live chat have talked about existing products to new customers. So market development. So multi-channel distribution enables Starbucks to sell existing products to new customer segments, new markets. And then a bit of application here. So by selling through supermarkets and delivery services, they reach customers who don't typically visit coffee shops. So just by using the word coffee shop, you get application, but still want a frappuccino, latte, or coffee beans. More application. And I also went with, and I suppose it's linked in a way, isn't it, to White's point about expanding to gain sort of economies of scale, maximizing that supply chain, is higher profit margins. So different distribution channels often mean different profit margins. So, for example, selling a ready-made bottle of frappuccino, iced frappuccino, whatever it is, might have a higher profit margin than making it or selling it in the coffee shop. And therefore, potentially, just by filling the supermarket shelves with your branded products, you can actually increase your profit margins. Obviously, the retailer, the supermarket, takes a cut. But operating coffee shops, as Starbucks and others have found, is very expensive. So actually, once the brand is recognised, that's not a bad idea. But anyway, there we go. Market development and profit margins. Either of those two would have been a good benefit to Starbucks. Interestingly, no one in the live chat has fallen for what the examiner might see as a trick in that question, which is thinking about benefits to customers. I would expect to see a lot of answers talking about how that's a benefit to customers. That's not necessarily a benefit to Starbucks. Good stuff. Let's do another one. Now, this is a new topic area, digital marketing, viral marketing. So a question here about Netflix. Netflix uses digital marketing techniques, including social media, email and search engine marketing, and influencer partnerships. Give me 2 benefits to Netflix of using digital marketing. Over to you again, and let's see if we can get some application in here, some words that are relevant to Netflix. So digital marketing, what are the benefits to Netflix of using digital marketing? Yeah, answers coming through on the live chat. I've put Lewis's answer in here because it's a good one. Amongst others, digital marketing reaches a wider audience compared with traditional marketing techniques, such as, for example, I don't know, normal TV or print marketing, newspaper marketing. Different audience, isn't it? Magazine marketing. This means that Netflix can increase their exposure to new customers, therefore potentially increasing sales. So yeah, that's a benefit. And don't forget, we need to get to a benefit. The benefit would be higher sales. Let's have a look at JT's coming with a similar but slightly different point. So it enables Netflix to reach customers who are in a particular age segment, so a demographic focus. For example, the gaming community. They're potentially a lot easier to reach them if you're using digital channels rather than relying on traditional channels. Let's have a look at more. Lots of great points coming here. So well done for having a go at these. Hopefully it's a useful activity. more customer attraction than it would do with physical marketing. So I think that's an important point, isn't it? It's comparing digital marketing with traditional methods of promotion. So posters. But these days, the poster sector is nearly all digital, isn't it? Not always. The billboard sector is still print. A lot of it is. But the poster market has largely gone to digital, but it is still a different channel. Marinella's gone with a different point, another equally valid point. By using platforms such as social media, Netflix is able to targeting is the key, isn't it? It's a younger audience, which is particularly important to Netflix as it has many programs aimed at younger people. That is sensational application. So the use of the word Netflix doesn't get you application because it's in the question, but the use of words like program and audience absolutely does. The examiner, if that was an exam question, would have to give you application. Fantastic answer. Amazing. I went with, let's have a look, he says. Trying to flick too many buttons here. I thought about it almost from a sort of Ansoff type approach. Not quite, but really the two benefits to my mind is, first of all, you keep existing customers, but then you might also gain some new ones. So, and that's a big issue with any business that relies on subscriptions. You've got to try and keep your customers to what's known as minimizing churn. That's not on the specification, but the idea is try and keep the ones you've got, but also obviously gain new ones. So I said that digital marketing helps Netflix retain existing subscribers. So by using the word subscribers, that's application, because it's about Netflix, not about Tesco's. Through personalized recommendations, Netflix might identify, using data, might identify subscribers at risk of cancelling, and then send them emails featuring new seasons of shows they've enjoyed, like The Crown or Bridgerton. You may have watched those two, possibly not, thereby encouraging them to remain as a subscriber. And so there's lots of application in there, but also gaining new subscribers. A number of people in the live chat talked about using digital marketing to find new customers. Targeted campaigns based on who they know to be watching Netflix. So in other words, who they want to be targeting. For example, fans of similar content to Squid Game. And perhaps offering subscription deals to gamers to trial for signups. Excellent answers. You did really well with Netflix there. And the key there is to do application. So why don't we just do a couple of little activities on application before we finish off by looking at a 9 marker. The application spinner is one we use in all of our sessions. It is by a distance the most important thing, application. It's the area where students are leaving marks on the table that they could get easily. We don't want that to be you. So we'll do a couple of activities on price elasticity of demand, or PED. So we've already done income. And on the screen there, 6 businesses chosen purely at random. And the question is, how sensitive is demand for that business to a change in price? So we're thinking about that PED, or price elasticity of coefficient. Let's spin the wheel to see where it lands. I have no idea. It's purely random. And today, it's landed on Wetherspoons. So over to you. There's no timer on this, but maybe just for 30 seconds or so. How sensitive is demand to changes in price for Wetherspoons, and why? What do you think? What do you think the PED might be for Wetherspoons? I'll keep an eye on the live chat, give you maybe sort of 15, 30 seconds to have a think about what you think the price elasticity demand is for Wetherspoons. How sensitive is demand to changes in price, and why? What do we think? Hopefully you're familiar with most of the businesses, if not all of them, listed there. But even better it would be if you're familiar with Wetherspoons. You may have been in one. You may have walked past one. You may have heard about them. What do we think? A few more seconds, and I'll take you through my answer. Number of people suggesting it's... it's interesting. So somebody's actually suggesting that it's actually price inelastic. Let's stick JT's idea on the screen here. Famous for their refillable drinks, and that actually brand loyalty suggests that it's price inelastic. So in other words, customers who go to Wetherspoons aren't that sensitive to price. For those who are brand loyal, maybe out of habit. Maybe there's a Wetherspoons near you that people go to out of habit, as well as being brand loyal. Interesting answer. Of course, there's no right answer to this. We don't know, do we? We don't know. We don't know what the answer is. I went with the other way around, which could easily argue that it's inelastic, but I went with price elastic. And my rationale for here, so for example, it could be minus 1.5. I don't know. But anyway, what you have to do is explain why you think it might be. And I reckon it's because Wetherspoons position themselves as being great value because they think that their diners or customers are price sensitive. They're looking for value. They're looking for cut price breakfast, cheap drinks, affordable pub meals. Patrons rather than customers, so application. I think they're highly sensitive to price. So if they significantly increase their prices, they might find that actually a number of customers, or quite a large number of their customers, went to find a better deal. Where they'd find them from, I don't know. But anyway, I went with price elasticity. White in the live chat has also suggested that, yeah, it's a highly competitive market, is breakfasts and cheap meals and drinks at night. And therefore, price changes can lead to a lot of switching to substitutes, which would suggest price elastic. But the most important thing there is in the application. So that's why I've highlighted the words. So don't use words like customers, use words like patrons or diners, and use words that are relevant to their business. So if you talk about the price of breakfasts or drinks or meals, that is application. So don't talk about products, talk about things that are relevant to the business. Let's try one more. Let's randomly choose 6 different businesses. Hopefully you're familiar with most of these. Let's spin the wheel. So same thing, how sensitive is demand for the business that it lands on to a change in price? It's landed on Lululemon. So what do you think, Lululemon? What do we think? So again, in the live chat, or if you're doing this on catch up, have a think about what do you think the PED coefficient might be for Lululemon and why. But could you write down or give me some words that make it about that business and, for example, not about EasyJet or Domino's Pizzas or Spotify? What do we think? Again, just give you sort of 15, 30 seconds or so to have a think if you want to add anything into the live chat. Lululemon, who have a very large store in Westfield, White City, just around the corner from View Cinema, where we're coming in a few weeks' time. And actually, where the store is a bit of a clue, I think, to what the answer to this particular activity is for the PED coefficient of Lululemon. JT, number of people going in, but let's stick JT's on the screen here. Lululemon is known to be priced at high prices consistently due to their quality of their athletic clothes application, ka-ching, e.g. leggings, bras, etc. More application, ka-ching. The examiner has to give you application, so suggesting that demand is priced inelastic due to, and it's even better answer here, due to a strongly differentiated product. So we've even brought some Porter's generic strategies using models to support your analysis, depth of analysis. What an answer that is. What an answer. However, of course, there is an alternative answer. Lewis has come up with one. It could be price elastic. As it's operating in a highly competitive market, customers may switch towards other competitors such as, here comes the application, as soon as we see such as Gymshark. There's your application. Examiner has to give you application. However, it could also be price inelastic due to their quality. Well, we don't know the answer, do we? Julia's reckons that Lululemon is quite trendy at the minute. There's a big focus on sports and gym wear. Application. I believe that means it makes it price inelastic, especially due to its quality. Fantastic answer. It's got analysis in there, but it's also got application. That's what the application spinner is all about. The use of the words sports and gym wear gets you the application. Well done. Here's what I went with. Embarrassing, really. Not as good as the answers in the live chat. I reckon it's relatively price inelastic, so less than 1. I've suggested minus 0.4. I've no idea, but that suggests that, for example, a 1% increase in price would only lead to a 0.4% decrease in quantity demanded. So relatively insensitive. Why? Because I think it's seen as a premium athletic wear brand. So there's my application, the use of the word athletic wear. And also use of a technique which Lewis used in the live chat, didn't he? Customers choose it for quality over mass market options such as Nike and Reebok. That's application. Your application in live chat was sensational. Well done. We've got one last activity. Got 5 minutes. So we're bang on time. Let's just, what I want to do in these sessions, and as we get closer to the exam, is just work our way through some exam style questions. So we'll do a 9 marker today. We'll do some 16 markers and 25 markers as well. But really just to help you unpick what the examiner's looking for. So here's our first question. And our last question for today. A technology business wants to maximize revenues for an innovative new product. There's our situation. That's our context, isn't it? Analyze how a strategy of price skimming may help the business achieve this aim. 9 marks. So over to you in a live chat, or maybe if you're having a think about that question, what is that question about? What's the start point? What is the topic that the examiner wants you to show knowledge and understanding of in order to access the other assessment skills, in this case of application and analysis? Obviously, there's no evaluation in a 9 marker. What is that question about? What we call the start point for the question. What do you think? I'll give you a clue. The words are actually, what it's about is in the question. What do you need to show knowledge and understanding of? I'll keep an eye on the live chat for 5 or 10 seconds if you want to have a go. Okay, I'll tell you. You may be thinking, Jim, I think it's about price skimming. And you'd be absolutely right. It is about price skimming. That's our start point. And that's what we need to understand. That's what we need to show the examiner we know about in our answer. We don't need to start with a definition. In fact, you shouldn't. You can if you wish, but it's not efficient. And as JT is correctly pointed, the start point is indeed price skimming. Where do we need to get to? Well, JT's given us the answer. So let's take the answer off. Our answer, our point or points, needs to get to maximizing revenues. So your answer needs to be about price skimming, but explain how and why it may help the business maximize revenues. That's what we need to focus on. And then the next issue is in terms of the wording, what context has the examiner provided that we need to reflect? Well, in this case, we're told that it's a technology business with an innovative new product. So we need to make sure that we address that in our answer. That is the context that we need to address in order to access level 3. And lastly, how many arguments do we need to get 9 marks or level 3? So in the live chat, give you 15 seconds. What's the minimum number of arguments we need to be able to get top marks for that question? It's called the scope. How many arguments does the examiner need in order for you to meet the requirement of range in the question? What do we think? How many paragraphs would you expect to write to give yourself the best chance for that question? And indeed, the answer is indeed 1. You only need 1 point. You can write 2 if you wish. You can write 3 if you wish. Waste of time. You definitely don't need to write a conclusion. I've seen lots of 9 markers the last few days with conclusions in them. That really is a waste of time. But the examiner just wants you to know 1 point. Examine or analyze how. It doesn't say analyze the ways price skimming might help the business, or analyze methods, plural, it's singular. There we go. Good stuff. So anyway, before I show you, I've had to go answering that. Over to you. What point might you write? Maybe give you 30 seconds or so if you've been thinking about this question. What points might you write for that question? Or point might you write? Because we only need to write 1 point, but there are several ways of answering this question. What do you think? Over to you. Let's see whether anyone's picked up a similar approach that I've gone with. As I said, there are more than one way. There's more than one way to answer this. So the question is about price skimming, and we want to know how price skimming may help the business maximize revenues. So how and why, or how does that happen? What do we want to argue here? What do we think? I'll give you a few more seconds. Okay, I'll keep an eye on the live chat for other answers coming in. Here's what I went with. And I think it's the classic answer to this. So let's just go through it. But there are other points that you could make. You only need one, of course. I think the answer here is by attracting early adopters. So all I need then to do is to explain how and why that happens. So if we've got an innovative new technology product, such as back in the day, the Tesla Model S or the Sony PlayStation VR, which were genuinely innovative technology products. So there's my application straight away. There's often a segment of customers or consumers who are willing to pay high prices to be the first to own it, almost regardless of the price. And therefore, these adopters make demand at the launch stage highly price inelastic. They'll pay almost whatever price to be seen to be the first owners, queuing up overnight and then saying, I've got one. So therefore, by setting a high price for the first users, that's known as price skimming. So we don't need to define price skimming. It's knowledge and understanding has been displayed in this answer by setting a high initial price for the first users rather than customers. The business should maximize the revenue from each purchase and tap into growing demand as word spreads about the innovation. So I've almost described price skimming, haven't I? By setting a high price, well, I have described it, high price for the first users to maximize revenues. That is price skimming, so we don't need a definition. The ability of the business to continue maximizing revenues, staying focused on that endpoint, may last for some time until new competitors enter the market, when selling prices may need to be lowered. But that is, I think, is a relevant answer to the question, which is, how does price skimming help the business achieve the aim? So what do you think, out between 0 and 9, how many marks do you think that would get? In a live chat, what do you think? What do we think? I've had it marked. How many marks out of 9 for that answer? Give you a few more seconds. Shall we have a look? So let's, I've not done this before in the live chat. This might go horribly wrong, but let's have a look. So I've just logged into Examiner AI, which is our new service to help you mark your own homeworks and practice questions. So let's, a number of people said it's 8. Yeah, I reckon it probably is 8. Could be 9. Could be 7. But I think it's definitely level 3. So let's go find out from Examiner AI. Not that Examiner AI is the only way of finding out, but let's find out. Let's go into business, pick AQA 9-mark question. And all we do with Examiner AI is just paste the question in. So there's our question. Press continue. Live demo, always a bit tricky. And all I'm just going to do is going to paste that answer into Examiner AI. By the way, it converts your handwriting if you've got a handwritten answer, but we know that we've pasted it in. There it goes. And, well, the only other thing to do is to sit back and allow it to go mark it. So mark the answer. Here it goes. And it does this fresh. It doesn't know. It's never marked this question before. It's not got a database of possible answers. It's marking it against a very detailed mark scheme for 9 markers. It's given it 8 out of 9. Which I think is right. I'd be disappointed if it wasn't 8 or 9. Examiner AI very rarely gives 9 out of 9 for some reason, but anyway, definitely 8 out of 9. And yet the answer provides a well-focused response demonstrating accurate knowledge. Yes, it does. Relevant application. Yes, it's about that technology product. And well-developed analysis. And it just goes through each of the assessment objectives. So, for example, for AO2, it says the answer effectively applies the concept of price skimming to real-world examples like the Tesla Model S and Sony PlayStation. Analysis, well-developed. It explains how price skimming can maximize revenues by targeting early adopters and leveraging inelastic demand. So I agree with that mark. I think it is 8 out of 9. And that's the beauty of Examiner AI. You can just keep marking your own draft answers as you're working through past papers, just to get consistent and accurate feedback on your 9 markers. There we go. Hopefully you found that session useful. I said 40 minutes, so a couple of minutes over. Hopefully you found it useful. Unit 3.3. And thanks for joining me live. If you're watching and catch up, hopefully you found it useful too. Don't forget to subscribe to the Tutor2 YouTube channel. You get notifications when all the other sessions are coming up. But for now, cheers, and we'll see you later.